Today we will be looking at the country of Venezuela and answering the question, what is the history of Venezuela? But before we do this, if you are new here, then be sure to click that subscribe button so you never miss an exciting episode. Also, stick around for our special announcement at the end of this video. Venezuela is a country located in South America. Its official name is the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela. The country has a rich history that dates back to pre-Columbian times. In pre-Columbian times, the region was inhabited by various indigenous groups, including the Arawak and Carib peoples. These groups developed their own languages, cultures, and societies, and they lived in relative peace until the arrival of European explorers. Christopher Columbus, an Italian explorer who sailed for the Spanish crown, was the first European to reach Venezuelan soil in 1498. He landed on the island of Margarita and explored the coast, but he did not venture inland. Columbus's arrival marked the beginning of the end for the indigenous peoples of Venezuela. The Spanish began to explore and conquer the region, and they brought with them diseases such as smallpox and measles, which devastated the indigenous population. They also enslaved many of the natives and forced them to work on plantations growing crops such as tobacco, cotton, and cacao. Despite the hardships faced by the indigenous peoples, some of their traditions and customs survived. For example, the use of hammocks, which was a practical invention for sleeping in the hot, humid climate of Venezuela, as well as the use of cassava, starchy root vegetable, as a staple food. In the 16th century, the Spanish began to establish settlements in Venezuela. The first permanent settlement was San Cristobal, founded in 1523. However, these early settlements were small, and the interior of Venezuela remained largely unexplored and unsettled. The Spanish focused their efforts on the more easily accessible areas of their empire, and Venezuela became known as the stepchild of the Spanish colonies in the Americas. During the colonial period, Venezuela was part of the Spanish colony of Venezuela and New Granada, which also included present-day Colombia and Panama. The capital of the colony was Caracas, which was also the capital of Venezuela. During this time, Venezuela's economy was based on agriculture, mining, and ranching. The Spanish introduced African slaves to work on plantations and in mines, and this led to a significant African influence in Venezuelan culture. In the 18th century, Venezuela experienced a period of cultural and intellectual growth, known as the Venezuelan Enlightenment. This movement emphasized reason, science, and individual liberty, and it inspired many of Venezuela's independence leaders. By the early 19th century, the desire for independence from Spanish rule was growing in Venezuela. The Venezuelan War of Independence began in 1810 with the first grito or cry of rebellion led by Simón Bolívar, a military and political leader who was considered the father of Venezuela. With the help of other Latin American independence movements, Venezuela declared its independence on July 5, 1811. However, the war was long and costly, and it was not until 1823 that Venezuela emerged victorious. During the early years of independence, Venezuela faced many challenges, including internal divisions and external threats from neighboring countries. But over time, the country stabilized and began to develop its identity as a sovereign nation. In the mid-19th century, Venezuela's economy began to grow, thanks to the discovery of gold and other minerals. The country also developed a strong agricultural sector, producing coffee, cocoa, tobacco, and sugar. This economic growth led to urbanization, and the cities of Caracas, Maracaibo, and Valencia grew rapidly. In the early 20th century, Venezuela became a major producer of oil. This transformed the country's economy and society. It led to the construction of new industries, infrastructure, and public services. However, the benefits of oil wealth were not evenly distributed, and there was growing inequality between the rich and the poor. In 1958, a revolution led to the overthrow of the dictator Marcos Pérez Jiménez and the establishment of a new democratic government. This period of democracy was marked by political parties, elections, and civil liberties. However, there was still a significant amount of poverty and inequality, and there were periodic outbreaks of violence and instability. In the late 20th century, Venezuela's economy continued to grow, but at a slower pace. The country faced a number of challenges, including high inflation, declining oil production, and increasing crime. Nevertheless, Venezuela remained a stable democracy, and it made progress on a number of social issues. For example, in 1976, women's suffrage was extended to indigenous peoples. And in 1999, Hugo Chavez was elected president on a platform of social justice and anti-corruption. Chávez's government implemented a number of policies aimed at reducing poverty and inequality, such as price controls, nationalization of industries, and social welfare programs. However, these policies were often poorly implemented, and they led to shortages of goods and services. Additionally, Chávez's government became increasingly authoritarian, and he was accused of human rights abuses and corruption. In 2013, Chávez died and was succeeded by his hand-picked successor, Nicolás Maduro. Maduro continued Chávez's socialist policies, but he faced a number of challenges, including falling oil prices, hyperinflation, and protests against his government. In recent years, Venezuela has been in a state of political and economic crisis. The opposition has accused Maduro's government of tyranny, and there have been widespread protests and violence. Despite all of these challenges, Venezuela remains a country with a vibrant culture and a rich history. From its pre-Columbian roots to its independence from Spanish rule, Venezuela has a unique story to tell. The country is home to a diverse population of people who have contributed to its rich cultural heritage. And despite the challenges it faces today, Venezuela continues to strive for democracy, equality, and justice for all of its citizens. Thank you for joining us as we explore the history of Venezuela. If you enjoyed this episode, please be sure to subscribe and leave a like. We would love to have you back for more exciting episodes. Till next time, stay curious and keep learning. It has been a while since I've done one of these videos, and I wanted to take this moment to let you know that I am currently working on a project that I am really excited about. I can't quite share the details just yet, but I can say that it is something that I have been passionate about for a long time, and I am so happy that it is finally coming to fruition. I am putting all of my energy into this project right now, and that means that regular episodes for the Country and Capital series will be suspended for the time being. Know how much you guys love this series, and I am so sad to be putting it on hold. But please know that it is only temporary. I have so many more countries and capitals that I want to share with you, and I have no plans of stopping the series anytime soon. So please bear with me and stay tuned. You won't want to miss what I have in store for you next.
Thank you.
For your understanding and your continued support. I promise it will be worth the wait.